This is, despite me saying I wouldn't make any more wine reviews, it's another wine review. This, my wine reseller, which is called Wine Racks Aberdeen, he's always telling me that Georgian wines are some of the best, as well as Lebanese wines. Georgia apparently has been making wine for 6,000 years. It tends to use, can you see that? SAPERAVI is the grape. And Kakheti is the wine region in Georgia. Georgia, I looked it up, is on the same latitude as Portugal, Spain and Greece. So it's quite far south. Making wine for 6,000 years. And this particular wine is called 1984. And I bought it because it reminded me of the George Orwell book. And we're living now, with Big Brother watching us all the time, we're living in 1984. It's 2018 wine, so it's 7 years old now. And it's a very, very black, very, very dark colour. You have to watch when you open it because it has this wax seal. And I feared that this wax would get into my glass, and it did. So there it is there. I had to filter it to get it out. But now we have a clear glass, and we shall try my first ever taste of Georgian wine. Well, like many wines on first tasting, it just tastes like red wine. And this is often the case. It takes a while before you get anything out of it. It's nothing like Châteauneuf-du-Pape or Malbec. It's lower in alcohol, I think. You can see that? I think it's 13.5. Yeah, it's just 13, I think, or 13.5. There's 13%. So the last wines I were drinking was Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which had 14.5. It's got nothing of that port-like taste that you get in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Nothing like the body or the strength of the Châteauneuf-du-Pape, or even the Malbec. No, it's very, very smooth. Obviously, there's no bite. You don't get any tannins. You don't get much acidity. It's just a very balanced wine, with nothing outstanding on the flavour side, really. But we'll keep drinking it and we'll get back to it. Usually you don't get the flavours in a wine anyway until the second glass. So after almost finishing the first glass, I would say it's a pleasant wine. It's the sort of thing you can live with. There's no real... It's not like an Australian hanging snakes Shiraz, which is a really lively and fruity wine. It's not like the Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which is a really complex wine. It's just a very, I would say raspberries, blueberries, just a very easy drinking wine that in no way is overpowering. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's underwhelming. It's just, I think, easygoing. Yeah, that's the best word for it. The so-called angel's tears are quite prevalent on this wine. You can maybe just see them running down the glass, although it's only 13%. It's surprisingly intoxicating. I'm quite shocked at how quickly this wine has hit me. Subtle fruits, I would say. It's almost like fruits of the forest. Raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, that kind of thing. Yeah, easygoing and fruity. My conclusion on this Georgian wine is, I mean, this was £35. You could almost get 2 bottles of Hanging Snakes Shiraz for the same price. And I recommend you do. I think 2 bottles of Hanging Snake Shiraz is far better value than this £35 Georgian wine. It's an okay wine. Maybe if you're eating, it's maybe a better wine when served with food, but as a wine on its own, it's just, I don't know, would I call it insipid? There's just nothing special about it, and at that price, you expect something special. You could get a really excellent wine for that money, and you know, you get a good Lebanese wine at £15 that's just the same as this, so I would say don't bother. That's my appraisal of this 1984 Georgian SAPERAVI 2018.